Cyberpunk is an awesome game. A lot of people know this game as you need a lot of power to play this game. And it's no secret that this game has a lot of really nice, vibrant scenery. Given this, it's attracted a lot of people, my girlfriend included. And today, I want to showcase this room that I made and the process it took to make it. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and I'll take you through the adventure of what was making this condo redesign. So yeah, enjoy. First off, I wanted to show the mood board. So the mood board, I took a lot of different concept arts, a lot of different scenery, and what I just knew what cyberpunk felt like, right? Because I've also played the game a little bit, and I knew that there were a lot of things that I would want to include and just really grab the essence of what cyberpunk is. Now, I didn't want to stray too far from reality, so I tried to keep it within what could be bought, what could be made, and what already exists, right? I'm not gonna make some hologram materials, so we're gonna stay within the realm of reality here. So I'm pretty proud of everything that's happened so far within the model. I really like the shelves here because I really tried to model them after the cyberpunk city feel. So there's like an overhanging roof, and then there's it's like a Japanese style door with the capiz shells, Japanese Filipino style. And I really wanted to integrate that because it just really looked nice, it looked modern. It could be double the shelves as well, right? And now the back side here, I wanted to sort of bring out the material, and I wanted it to look very cyborgy. So I came up with the idea of writing the name Jiro right there. I found it difficult to put a sort of hole in the middle, so I just put it on the ends there. So it could be doubled as Jinx, but Jiro. But either way, I think it was a really good touch to have both, because Arcane, Cyberpunk, Jiro, it's all within the same realm. And I'm really glad that it worked out like that. But I just wanted to make sure that the furniture accentuated the room instead of making it seem so noisy. Because I figured that if I were to put a lot of really noisy noisy furniture, it would be hard and it would be difficult and less comfortable to sleep in that room. So within the grounds of just keeping it simple and keeping it look nice, I really like the way it turned out because I feel like it doesn't have too much noise, and it's very nice to see when you wake up and keep stuff in. I'm here to also talk over certain progress points, like over here. And throughout this project, I was actually able to make my own furniture, and I was really excited. It started off with these hex lights, which I saw one time when I was watching one of my favorite streamers' streams. I saw that they had these hex lights in the background, and I've always wanted to have those in my room, and they've always given me this cyberpunk feel. Now, I couldn't find this on the 3D workshop, so I also ended up realizing I made a modular hex light variant. So that means I could possibly reuse them, and also it would be easy for me to like attach them to one another in future models. But anyway, I soon get over to trying to make this side panel for originally the concept was so she could put her phone or some drinks there as like a cup holder or a phone charger. But I also noticed that there'd be too much area that the CPU or that the entire CPU would take up. And here again, I'm looking at the inspirations for the shelves, and I'm trying to make sure that everything is still aligned with the idea I had for the room. And here I'm starting to model through the size of the PC. I tried to make sure that the model of the PC, or at least the size of the PC, was still relatively realistic to what I know the dimensions of her PC were to be. So here's I'm making the pocket for the PC on the underside of the desk. I also put a little opening in the background, you know, just because PCs still need to breathe, obviously. I mean, this is obviously not as optimal as it should be, but at the end of the day, it gets it done. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. and I'm still really excited to be able to share this with you guys. So we're here adding the chair and we're currently fixing it right there. We're trying to make sure that the color scheme right now, the color scheme obviously is the most important part about, I feel like, this whole project that I'm making. I mean, it's just a lot of trying to unify the idea that is cyberpunk and trying to make sure that in everything that you see in this room, it just yells cyberpunk. So in my head, I wanted to try to go for a light-ish theme for the chair, and I stopped with the chair and I wanted to proceed with the veins area, this cybertech area. And just before I keep explaining, this happened to me and I genuinely thought I shaped it really well. I hate it when this happens. It just suddenly, it's like, oh, never mind, it's not right. But anyway, there we go. This is like the cybertech, cyberware area that makes, it's like, it's supposed to look like veins that are circuits running through your skin, right? This was one of the first things that you see when you try to edit your character. I'm really sorry, I forgot what they're called. But they really gave me this really good idea that this might be a nice way to add some light and to add some texture. And right now, again, I'm looking through the colors of trying to make sure it feels cyberpunky. I didn't like this brown, but I feel like it was a way for me to distinguish that I wanted this to be a different color, right? But the brown, that's the framing, I kind of kept that as final. But I ended up switching to a very dark color of brown, almost black actually, to the point where I really liked it. I really liked the colors, so I changed everything. I made sure that all the accents, even the most intricate parts, were also that same color. I tried to sift through other colors and then ended up with a darker shade of black or wood, and I really liked it a lot more. I feel like it was a lot more sleek, it was a lot more modern. The texture was nice, it wasn't too flat. It gave me a cyberpunk feel, so I kept it and I tried to remodel everything. And this is where I was also starting to have some second thoughts with the chair. I didn't know if white was the goal here or if I should have stayed with white or if I wanted to make it a different color. But I feel like I wanted to stay with white here, so now I'm trying to fix the rest of the room, trying to add some more furniture. These blinds were different colors, so I opted to change it to a darker color. Here I'm trying to fit this air conditioner because, you know, still it's hot country, right? More blinds. We finally labeled and colored the Jinx area, as you can see, or as over there. I'm adding a lot of different little details right now. And here I wanted to change the colors of each individual hex, and this was my favorite part because just being able to like change the color and make it look and feel cyberpunky was my absolute favorite thing. And right now we're just cleaning it up, we're adding the furniture, and we're trying to make this whole room come together as the final touches are to come through. Yeah, so we have the glass already, we have the windows, we start to really just try to finalize as much as we could, right? And as you can see over there in the background of the monitor, I actually wanted to put this sort of panel that makes it seem like it's a screen, which I ended up replacing in the future, but right now I'm still going for that idea. And the whole black shelves that you can see on top of it, those are actually so that I don't impose a hierarchy and that she can put whatever kind of trinkets she wants on it. Yeah, it's not too plain, it's not too ugly in the back. Okay, here we already finally came to the ceiling design part, and originally here I came up with this idea for a really default ceiling, so much so that I realized that it wasn't cyberpunky enough and I went back to sort of design it in a different way. I wanted to kind of make it a more techno feel, so I pulled down the ceilings and made it different colors, and trust me, it looks really good when you render it. So now here we're just going on some final touches of the rest of the structure, and we should be heading to rendering here soon. And yeah, we just change up some of the materials, some of the other textures, and we head on to D5. But before we keep moving on with the video, I just kind of wanted to say a few things. Now, before we go on with the rendering, I am not the best renderer. I'll be honest with you. I was a late bloomer when it came to architectural rendering and figuring out a lot of the technical stuff. I mean, my SketchUp doesn't even have a lot of plugins, and I just kind of go off of a whim on like how I should go about things. But I'm very much more excited to learn, and I feel like this whole project here was a very big opportunity for me to figure out what I need to learn. And with that being said, here we are with the rendering. So we start off with really designing the hex lights, putting life and light through them. And I go ahead and light up other parts of the room so I can clearly see what we're working with here. And the first thing I wanted to do was sort of make sure this Jinx logo at the back was like, I like to do things in a modular way. I try to take things step by step and bring them all up at the same time. So as I finish the Jinx, I'm over here already finishing up the ceiling light, and those look amazing. Now we're also going for the other accent lights like blue, pink, the yellow backlight that she's gonna have in front of her, the lights for her shelves, on the rims, on the edges of the tables, and of course we're adding LED lights to the Jinx background. So now right here, I'm not super satisfied with the color of the Jinx and the texture of the name here. I was actually pissed off majority of the time making this. Now I referred to it as Jinx because right now it does look like Jinx, right? But when I change the colors, it starts to just become again a mix of Jira and Jinx. So here I decide to again start changing up the colors, and I start shaping the lights to go a bit smaller so I can make them into the edges. And this was honestly, I'm so glad it turned out the way it did because it looks really nice in the end render. So again, I just go through the neon color palette that I know Cyberpunk to have. I add more accent lights on the edges over there, more of the mood lights again on the top and behind of her screen and the monitor. All right, so as we finish with the mood lighting behind the laptop screen, or the PC screen I should say, we go around and try to look around the room, and we see that right here I'm trying to already start with the panels here. Now the panels here, I wanted to sort of individualize the models so that I can put a texture map on each model face, right? So right here we're making sure that it's even and that it looks symmetrical, and I think this is where the problems start to kind of dawn on me. So I try to settle on this cyberpunk background that I knew I could have repeat for a little bit, but we're not gonna inherently finish it yet. We're gonna go over here to the accent lights on the cyber tech on the wall over here, so that there's more a little bit more mood lights here, because I figured that it is a gaming area. You want it to emanate power, but you don't want it to be too overwhelming, right? You don't want it to be too bright so it doesn't harm your eyes. So I opted to put them in the design, right? So it's more diffused light, right? So now we opt to make the panels on the screen horizontal instead, so this provides a better design, right? So now I start to figure out the shape and how I can make the structure, so how I make the panels look a lot better, right? And as I move on from that, I wanted to make the carpet come together, because the carpet just started to look kind of bland for me and it started to make me feel a little bit off, right? So I realized here that if I wanted to individualize the texture patterns, I had to make a model for each specific one, right? So over here, I decide to try and play with the cherry blossoms a little bit, right? So you can really see here that each texture is individual in the panel. It becomes this sort of put together puzzle piece as her background, right? I don't settle with this in the final one because I start to look at it and I think that maybe it's a bit too non-cyberpunky, right? I realize that there are a lot of things here that I do think emanate cyberpunk, but I don't think that background felt cyberpunk. So I go around the room and I realize, okay, I need to add more lights. I need to make this feel more cyberpunky, right? And over here, I retexture the background, the gyro. Now it more looks like a gyro. I add more lights, and I think everything from this point onwards is a little bit more self-explanatory. I mean, I'm just kind of filling in the rest of the room with different kinds of trinkets and different kinds of furniture.
And honestly, it was just a point of did it look good or not, or did the color resonate with me enough. And you're also gonna see that I use SketchUp imports to bring in new kinds of materials, and I really try to play around with the textures and the lighting a lot. So with that being said, I thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video and the reaction to come at the very end. And with that being said, I've been Architect Enzo, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye. Lighting a
It
lot.
does.
So
Thank you
with that
yourself.
being said, I thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video and the reaction to come at the very end.
Oh yeah!
And with that being said, I've been Architect Enzo, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.
It's us.
Yeah! Oh my god, I was about to add. Oh my god, you could have add
Look.
nga a guitar. Ganyan, ganyan.
And then look at this one. I told you I thought about this, bruh.
I was gonna be tampo na. You didn't wanna listen to me.
So I said just keep watching it. See? There's more.
I'm gonna cry. Shoot!
Wala na. Para sa ilalim mo. So, you know.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I changed
I
the
was
color
gonna
to,
point out and I was gonna be like, where am I gonna put my clothes? Makeup! You know me so well. You know, that's where my makeup is right now. Like, did you know? I also got a plant. Oh my the details. I'm actually crying. Oh my gosh, you know me so well. Molly!
I
Oh my gosh,
changed
may
the
ganyan
colors up
pa.
for the variants, but you know.
Wow! I am speechless. This is the poster. Oh my god! Oh, wait. Is it too late to ask you to do some to? It should be the one in Little Tokyo. Our pictures in Little Tokyo.
Okay, then we can do that. I can definitely add that part. Well, I mean, I can't add that to the video, but in
Okay.
the final pictures we can post. Yeah.